And what it allows us to do is to see our parents greater, to know them as greater, and to exercise a little bit more love and forgiveness. So, in each relationship, there's an opportunity for healing and for growth. And once we begin to look at our relationships like that, they can serve their purpose. So, when we talk about our spouses, we could say, let's just get real current here. Spouses, partners, significant others, those who we're having a loving relationship with, that's what we want to talk about today. And just like parents gave us some insights and some qualities that we could use in our growth and building the foundation upon our uniqueness was to express, our partners, our spouse, our significant others also are there to love and support us and perhaps hold some of the missing pieces for us that we're looking for. So we can begin to look at them differently and then begin to receive and then grow. The old paradigm of marriage was pretty much based on survival so that we could be safe, find our food, water, and shelter to procreate the species. We also weren't really seeing each other as equals back then either. We've come through a pretty long period of a patriarchal society, and now as we're growing and expanding our consciousness and the feminine energy, the females are beginning to take ownership in their creative essence. Relationships are changing now, and that's a good thing. Because when our relationship was based on being safe or being loved by someone outside of ourselves, and we didn't see ourselves as being whole, that allowed for fear to come into the relationship, and then all sorts of misqualified energies around that whole relationship and marriage. So in that growth period and in that time, we still all learned, didn't we? One expression that I like to say is that the experience of who we aren't will show us who we are. And even though we can look back in relationships and think that they didn't really serve us, they did. And if we can continue to be aware and pay attention to the experiences that we've had, we can continue our growth. So as we've grown and expanded, and now we're in the Aquarian age and we're seeing each other as equals, we create a more dynamic relationship because we're starting to relate to one another as spiritual beings. It's a powerful way to begin to live our life. We begin to see ourselves equal in the eyes of God and equal in the eyes of one another. And through that equality, we can begin to create form. We can create a form and an understanding of each other's uniqueness and make that manifest in the world. That's a powerful gift. When one is healed, all are healed. So through our relationships, if we can get to that point where we begin to know another soul greater, when we begin to know ourselves as greater, that makes us feel a whole lot better about life. Not just that particular nuclear family that we're creating, but the family of man. That's the transformation that's going on right now. Looking at that spiritual partnerships for the purpose of our spiritual growth. And when I say spiritual growth, it doesn't necessarily have to do with a doctrine and teachings of this and that, because we know that everything's spirit, and we know that that underlying energy is love. The quiet mind today could be the foundation for this service, for as we begin to allow the love to flow, that's when we allow acceptance to flow from us, that non-judgmentalness to flow from us, acceptance, peace, joy, all those qualities that not only free ourselves but free one another. So that's what the intention of relationships can be for us at this moment in time. I can look out at this church, and it's really neat. This is, you might say, a New Age church. And when we first started out, there'd be 99% women in all of our classes and all of our services and everything that we did. And it was kind of neat because we'd talk with everybody, and it's like, yeah, my husband lets me come to this church. So they were kind of supporting their spiritual growth. And pretty soon, the men started coming. And I can never forget this one day. It was on Super Bowl Sunday. And there were, I'm not going to say half, but there were a lot of men out there. And I'm going, wow, this is something. Because it's kind of a mad holiday. So, but this is the key, or the paradox of our spiritual growth, is that as the maybe the male put up with this, I'll let her go to that church and do that healing work and meditation, and and pretty soon they start noticing that their family and their home life is elevating, and there's more peace and calmness and joy, and then they're getting this guidance and counsel from their wife in a new light, in a new vein. Things are changing, and they're seeing it changing in their real world. And then they start coming, and then they'll come. They might come to the first thing that we try to get people to come to is the psychic fairs and festivals that we have, because those are fun. They're pretty user-friendly, but we're who we are. We do the readings, we do the healings, we do the classes, we do crafts, and we have really good food. And they say the way to a man is through his stomach. So we have good food, but we have good spiritual food also. And then they'll start coming to Sunday services and maybe Tuesday nights. And we have a men's group that we're starting up, and that's getting exciting. But through that support, we're allowing someone else to grow spiritually. I'm going to support your growth spiritually. We're coming through, moving through that old paradigm of the way things were or the way things had to be. Our world is upside down right now. It's changed. It's changed for the better. And so to see that growth in consciousness, to see how many men are participating in our Sunday services, our special events, and things like that. And it's the byproduct of that allowing, supporting another's spiritual growth. So when we begin to look at our marriage, we could be married for 20, 30, 50 years, it doesn't matter. But we could set a new intention that let's just make this relationship beneficial and supportive of each other's spiritual growth. You see, we don't really know what another needs, but we could listen to them, and in the words that they speak, we're going to find out. But if we don't have a place to speak, how's anybody ever going to know? And so that's the dynamic of a new spiritual relationship that we can have in our marriages and our committed relationships and our spiritual partnerships. We can begin to see each other as equal, as a unique soul. When we begin that kind of a relationship, it allows us to transcend our personality. That's powerful. Because when we transcend our personality, that's what allows us to really love and support another in their spiritual growth. And then a funny thing happens. We grow. It's a really byproduct of being able to love someone, to support someone, and then in the process, the byproduct, we're growing ourselves. We're all lifted. When we see that partner, that spouse, that mate as equal, then our whole dynamic in the relationship can change. And that's what I mean when we make it into form. We begin to look at what is, have a talk about what we'd like to see, and then take the steps to change that. It's real powerful. Cindy and I have been together for almost 21 years, and I can just really be real honest that when we came together, I didn't know a thing about relationship. I didn't know how to live in relationship. I was pretty much independent, isolated man, and which wasn't bad. But I was changing, and I wanted to change, and I wanted to grow. And so I think we came together on divine appointment, and I thank God for that. But when we came together, we were both at a point in our lives where we wanted to grow, and we wanted to change, and we wanted to heal, and we also wanted to create something greater than ourselves. We wanted to create something greater than ourselves. And so we had love, and we had commitment, and we had trust in one another. And I think those are three foundation stones that if we put those in our relationships, love, trust, and commitment, there isn't anything that we can't do together. And I know she stood up here sometimes and talks about our relationships, and she'll go, "Oh, you should have seen us. It was like the clash of the titans." You know? And it was. But through the clash of the titans, those were opportunities for us to grow. They were opportunities for us to let go of our littleness and support each other to move into our greater sense of self, our spiritual identity, our divinity. So I don't know if our relationship would be a model for all, but for us it's perfect. And one thing that we learned through our relationship that I think is real awesome for me is part of that thing I didn't know. I didn't know that love could just keep growing and growing and growing, get bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better. That's how disconnected I was from love and life. And the longer we stayed together, the more I loved her, the more the love grew, the more my love for God grew, the more my love for life grew. And it was incredible. And the path to that was, do you know how when everything's going good for you and you're kind of hitting this plateau, and that's like God's blessing of, you've worked really hard so we can enjoy this plateau for a while, and things are going real good. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it's boredom or sameness or what comes in. And then in relationships, it's kind of, I don't know, I shouldn't say the word easy, but sometimes then you might start getting a little picky. You know, you might start noticing something and it bothers you more than it had in the past. You know, and so whenever we found that happening in our relationship, through awareness, we'd see it starting to happen, and we'd go, hey, this isn't the way that we want to live. See, we're not just putting up with one another, we're growing up with one another. And so what we would do is we'd sit down and talk about what was happening. Why are you feeling this way? Why are you feeling? What's happening in a relationship? And sometimes we go, do you want to go on? You see, do you want to go on? And what we would do then is we'd make a new agreement. We'd make a new agreement. We'd sit down and talk and say, I will do this. I will do this. I will shift my pattern, my energy to support this relationship. And then she'd go, well, I'll do this. So we created a new relationship, a new agreement of what we wanted to experience. And we might go, truth, and we'd say, and we'll do this for 6 months. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, bye-bye. And that may sound kind of crazy, but I think when you love someone and are committed to someone, and you can trust someone, and you're both working together, it's going to change. And that's what I've learned, you know, through all these years, is that it's okay to make new agreements. It's okay to change. Because after every new agreement and every change that I made, my life and our life got better. And that's just the times that we live in now. You know, we can look back and just like we got a lot of foundation stones from our parents, you know, and they gave us something for which we could be our uniqueness in. But also we got a lot of memories, and we imprinted on a lot of experiences that they mirrored relationships to us about. And they saw life a whole lot different than we see life. So the way that they lived in relationship doesn't necessarily have to be that we live in relationship. See, we're not our mom and we're not our dad. We're this unique child of God. Father God, Mother God, we're child God. And so as we begin to change that identity, maybe we could set the bar a little bit higher for ourselves. Do you see? Setting the bar. Be perfect even as your Father in heaven's perfect. See, allow that love to reign supreme. Not to let our addictions reign supreme or our ego reign supreme. But to let our love reign supreme in our relationship with our beloved, the one we love. You see? And so if we have love and trust and commitment, and we all know love's not enough, don't we? All us older people, we say, love's not enough. See, trust is very important. Because if we don't have that trust with one another, we're not able to share the love that we have for one another. It's when that withholding word starts happening. And that's the power of trust. Because that allows us to flow that love that we have for one another. And then to not only have like love and commitment and trust and the love that we have for one another, but also to know that all that energy is powerful enough to grow this relationship that we're creating. See, back in an old paradigm of marriage and survival, where fear and doubt might have been the teachers, people came together to get something, to be taken care of, to be loved, to carry on a family name, to carry on a family fortune, to carry on a race, to get something. In this new paradigm, a spiritual relationship, we come together to create something. Isn't that a powerful way to look at relationships now? We come together to create something. You know, and in the past we came together and we procreated, and so we created this race of man. We can transcend that now in consciousness. When we just say the word metaphysical and say beyond the physical, to see spiritual being as well as physical. To allow that spiritual essence to begin to blossom and come forth in this world. That's the transformation. That's the second coming of Christ on the planet. So we come together and support each other in their unique expression. What a wonderful gift relationship can be. It's all ours to partake of. It's allowing one another to be their uniqueness. Recognize the gifts that they give to us. I could go on for another couple hours. All that I've received, the gifts that I've received from Cindy. And you know, it's not always this. It's always this heart opening up and giving me just a couple of words. And then just letting it go, because those words are going to sink in. And I've learned enough to let them sink in and let them come up. And then appropriate them in my life. And so when we say we're going to support another spiritual growth, the word that we want to use is love. We don't have all the answers. We might have some missing pieces that we're looking for. See, a relationship, really, for a good relationship, we need two whole individuals. See, we're in the walk to wholeness in our manifestation. When we talk about our inner male and our inner female, that internal marriage that can go on, to be able to access God and to be intuitive and creative and pull in that God essence and energy through the feminine, nurturing energy. And then that masculine, that action, to be able to accomplish, to be logical, to take this information, make it work in the world. See, we're balanced now. So, as we begin to look at our partner, you see, and the gifts that they bring to us, if we're awake and don't hold them to a role, we can receive those gifts that they have for us. Just like when we let go of the judgments to our parents, we can see the gifts that they gave to us. It's a wonderful, wonderful path that God has set up for us to walk down. And it's just like, let's just surrender to that process. Surrendering to the process. But it takes both, you know, and that's where communication comes in. And that's why, like now, another thing that just is a joy to my heart and our hearts is we see so many, we got a lot of really cool younger people, young adults here, and they're looking at life like that. They're not looking at life in that old paradigm for somebody to take care of them. They're looking for someone to grow with spiritually. And that's evolution. That's evolution in consciousness. And that's a wonderful gift to see also. Because our world's changing. We're still going to be on the planet. But we can do things, the same things that we're doing today, you know, but we can do them in a different way, with a different intention. And that's what that's all about, changing from a mere physical relationship to a spiritual relationship. Instead of just worrying about getting my needs met, opening my heart and supporting the needs and growth of another. It's a powerful avenue for us to take. And we're both going to grow. That's the paradox of it. That's the blessing of it. It's so cool. So as we begin to walk this path, we learn to trust not only each other, but we begin to trust our ability to grow together. We can do this. It can work out. Just like when Cindy and I came together with the intention to grow personally, and then also to grow something greater than ourselves. We didn't know exactly what that was going to look like. But we just started walking together, and our love for each other, and our love for God, and our commitment to each other, and our commitment to God, and the trust that we had, allowed us to walk, and then allow our life to unfold. Our life to unfold. As a blessing for both of us. And that's all that I think, if we seek that, we'll find the fulfillment that we're looking for in life. All of us will. Before, in the old paradigm in marriage, it was outer directed and outer driven. The new paradigm, the spiritual, is inner. It's inner guided. The payoff is in the inner, but it manifests in the outer. And there's no fear. There's no fear. So if we look at our relationships and make a choice to shift it into that spiritual relationship, begin by setting the intention to do that, and then support it daily. Support it daily. Allow the love to flow daily. Allow the respect to flow daily, the trust. Allow spirit to transcend our personality. See, creating conscious relationships involves knowing both our dependence and our inner dependence. That's like a relationship. The spiritual relationships that we form free us from the past and allow us to create the world of light we all know we came here to create. We have the opportunity daily. The operative word is love. So, this week as you go forth, when you look at your partner, ask to see him from the eyes of spirit. Ask to see what gift they hold for you today. When you look in the mirror, look into your eyes and see yourself as spirit. And ask, what gift can I give my partner today? And follow that guidance. And a funny thing will happen. You'll change for the better. Let's all go within. And so let's go within now, closing our eyes. And once again, as we turn within, we close the door to the worldly way, and we're going to turn within to spirit. Let's turn within to spirit, our unlimited nature. Let's turn within to that pure potential of God. Let's turn within to that love I am. And once again, as you turn within to your heart, allowing that love to grow. And then from your heart, let's just take a moment to send love to our inner male and inner female. And just a quick prayer. Father, we ask that our inner male and inner female come together in greater love and harmony, that they learn to work together even greater, to love greater, allowing for this expression to be clearer and brighter, and pure love expressed. And just breathe, and just feel the warmth of love just flooding through your body, through your consciousness, knowing that the healing is taking place right now. And now if you do have a partner, a significant other, a spouse, or just someone that you're in relationship now, breathe and just allow your heart to open. And have them stand before you and ask to see with the eyes of spirit. Ask to be able to truly see their soul, their beauty, their uniqueness. And open up your heart. And just allow your heart to flow to them now. And feel their heart opening and their love flows back to you. And ask them to see you with their spiritual eyes. Ask them to glimpse your soul, your unique beauty, unique qualities. And through this communion of souls now, ask to see what you could give your partner to support their spiritual growth. Ask to know what you could do to support their spiritual growth. Breathe. Feel your heart opening one more time. And ask to be able to receive the love and support that your spouse, partner, significant other has for you. Allowing for that free-flowing love, colored by that intention to support spiritual growth. Lifts you both. Frees you both from the past. Heals you both. Makes you both whole, complete, and perfect. For you've come together to grow something. Accept the blessing and know how loved and supported you are. So just breathe and just feel the love that envelops you now. A warm cocoon of love. Be still and know I'm with you always. So just breathe and feel your consciousness back in your chair, back in your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Glad to be alive on planet Earth at this moment in time. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes. I wrote this poem to Cindy a long time ago. And it's kind of along the lines that we were just talking about today. And it's called The One. I love that your presence came to me to share in this life so grand. Our place is unimportant. Our presence is the key. To ask of life's many questions, the answer's not always clear. In awe of nature's wonders, acknowledged and reverently there. With open heart and eyes to see, an inner light guides you and me. Through valley, river, field, and wood. We sometimes wonder why. But this leads us to the mountaintop, a journey we must take, to find of life's treasures, which now we can partake. I love that your presence came to me.